Bonjour, hello, welcome to MaxMountainWorld. Bonjour, hello. Today the 11th of May, the Monday the 11th of May 2020, the first day of deconfinement. And it's 6 in the morning, just before it, a couple of minutes before it. The weather's what most people would consider pretty awful, but it's weather. And I'm going to do a tour of the Parc des Ecrins. Now, forecast is awful. I know this route pretty well. It's one of my favourite drives. I've done it so many times before, but I've not done it for a long time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop at various points and do a little video to add on to this video. So just to say that it's been pretty stormy overnight, and I'll just show you what I'm looking at. Now, if I take a look up here and zoom in, and you can see that it has actually snowed quite dramatically up the top here. Now, just clean the screen. And the snow seems to have its snow line round about 2,000 to 2,300 metres. So the forecast is due to get a bit colder today, and that's the only thing I've never done, is I've never done this trip round with a bad weather and bad forecast, and I'm starting off with a warning, possible disruption to the route due to snow, rain, flooding. I'm just heading down just below Les-Orres on the way down, about 2/3 of the way down. When I first started the lockdown, I found I went down one night and there was a huge landslide. And you can see where it's happened just ahead here to the right. They've done a lot of repairs, but it completely closed the road. And it's all been repaired now. Well, it's on the way to being repaired. But I couldn't see anything because I did a fuel run. I needed fuel for the car. Went down late at night and obviously in the dark. So that's the first time I've seen that in the daylight. Probably got quite a lot of wind noise here, so do some close cam. Up at the Col de Noyer, which is just at the side of the Devil-Wee Massif, where I used to live. And the thing about what I'm about to arrive at is just coming away from the col in a northeast direction. It's just the view you're suddenly presented with round this corner. As I say, forgive the wind noise. I'll try and cover the mic and the camera, but that'll just only serve to quieten it. But when you ever look at that, every time, I'm glad the weather's cleared a little bit this morning. It's not a particularly high call at 1664 metres, but wow. And just look over the edge. I'm now in Super Devil-Wee. This is where I used to live. Up there. And if I turn round, you'll see the view I used to have in the mornings. I think the sun's playing with the light here. on the camera. Just incredible how black the woods become on these. Really used to be a sort of similar colour to this over there. And there's the ski slopes ahead, the main station. Sorry about the wind again. And unfortunately, the Pic de Bure is out of sight, but I'll shove a picture in. And this used to be the other view out the side of my apartment. Just down from Super Devilwee is the village of Saint-Étienne-en-Devilwee. And what we're looking at here is the old road. I watched them build this new bridge a few years ago, which covers over this massive ravine. And you just look down there. I'll zoom in and back out and you can catch the scale of this. Just astonishing the height of all that. They've covered this up now, but this used to be a drainage hole in the road. In fact, no, you can still see it. They've not covered it up properly. See if I can pull some of that aside. You used to be able to look down from the road and see right down to the bottom. This is where I used to have to drive round all this lot, but now they've got this new bridge. And just imagine all the coaches, huge coaches with trailers filled with skis and stuff. They used to have to negotiate their way around this lot. Obviously blocked off for vehicles now. Just have a wee look over the other side here, but this is all they use for via ferrata for climbing and stuff, but absolutely spectacular. You can see the bridges that they've got for quite muddy water now. Again, the snow line up there is around about 2,300 metres where it snowed last night. This is all new, the climbing stuff for the kids, a little picnic area. The parking area used to be the full size, but it's limited now. And the full descriptives of everything here, all done in French, the full map. And if you want, get your phone on that, you'll get an English version. Same again, I think that's probably the same English version. Gives you all the information, pretty well done. That's all new. This wasn't here before. Well, obviously the gorges were, but all this boards and things weren't. So just to reiterate on the geography, I left Les-Orres, I went round the back of the city of Gap, over the Col du Noyer and onto the Massif of Devilwee, the Devilwee mountain range. I've just left the other side of that with these bridges and things, and I'm coming down to the separation between the Southern Alps, which we've just left, and the Northern Alps, and this is separated down here by what I consider to be the most dangerous tunnel I've come across. Many of the locals around here agree with me, and they'll actually skip round the left of it to avoid going through the tunnel. It's one way. You're supposed to go through the right hand side, but you'll see what I mean as we come to it, just round the corner here. A little bit of rockfall protection, but a lot of people will just skip round the left there. But you come into here, you're just plunging into darkness. In the winter, it's just sheet ice. And yeah, we're now in Department 38. We've just left Department 05. Department de Les-Orres, it says. There we go. On with the theme of spectacular views. Just had very, very twisty piece of road there. And these mountains ahead aren't quite as high as the other ones, but you've got all these twisty roads all over the place. And we come round this lot, there's another one, and twisties, and then all of a sudden 4 kilometres dead straight, as far as you can see. Straight, with a speed limit halfway along it as well. So just down to Lac Sauté, and we're actually driving over the dam for this. It's kind of huge. I'm gonna have a wee look around, although there is some roadworks and stuff going on, so I don't want to get in the way of these guys. I'll just have a quick look. So this lift system, I think they bring down mining stuff or whatever from further up. This is the Belvedere du Sauté, and it's actually a fun centre as well. I think today's ongoing theme is going to be the wind with this storm system that's coming through, but just down here is a zip wire where you can zip over. They do bungee jumping off the bridge itself. You can see the safety cable up the middle perhaps. All the kids area here, restaurant area, and I'll take a little wander up and just see the height of this. It's pretty incredible. Sorry about the wind, but can't be helped. As yet not got myself a windproof mic yet. Right, so almost halfway over the bridge. Let's go look over. And then the lake behind it. These are the roadworks that took me about 5 minutes to get past. Actually followed a lorry that was travelling at 1.4 kilometres per hour. And over the other side of the bridge, they have all walkways and all sorts built into the whole thing. It's a whole fun centre, but really the camera's not going to pick up the scale of this. Again, zoom in, zoom out. That's at a 90 times zoom. Just come back out fairly quickly. Just as we're leaving, you can see that this is a huge hydroelectric place. There's pylons everywhere, massive cables all over the place. It really is huge, and it's just one of many in the Alps. Many of these. The French are huge on their hydroelectric power. So as we head away, just on the right here is camping area and stuff next to the lake. Let's go and find some strange stuff. Just coming into La Salle en Beaumont. Now the Alps has, I'm interrupted here, the most funkiest churches on the planet. Here's one here. I'm just going to pull in and show you what I'm distracted by. Someone else is out having a nice day. Yeah, they've got this pretty incredible looking church. side there. Straight ahead of us here, you can see this electricity pylon. What's strange about that? Let's follow the wires, and you can see that the gorge is actually that deep that the next pylon is next to the bridge, and the wires actually go underneath the bridge. And that bridge itself is actually part of a one-way system. If you go in one way, you drive the 300 meters over the bridge. If you come in the other way, you drive 1.3 kilometers, 1,300 meters the other way on a twisty road. And just above it is a typical alpine rock formation. You can see the lines on it. This is when the Alps was pushed up from the bottom of the sea. And you find quite often in those rock formations there's actually relics of old fish shells. Now pay attention to this road sign on the right. Okay? Just keep that one in mind. Now this might just seem like a quiet, deserted town because of current circumstances, but I'll assure you this is always like this. Just a sleepy little village. Rough roads, as you can probably hear, but yeah, quiet little town in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, the sign was right. So out at the other side of the village of Entraigues, they have another one. And look at the trouble that they've gone to make this absolutely beautiful with all the adverts and stuff. And you look at the intricacy of this, it's a pretty, his gut split a little bit. In summer we get a lot of cyclists up and down the mountains. I just thought in the current times that's kind of appropriate. How about a bear playing air guitar? Rockin'. Now that used to be a bear planking, and if you don't know what planking is, Google it. Amongst the backdrop, it looks like the yellow vest movement, the Gilets jaunes, is still alive in France, in the mountains. I'm just coming up to a bend here, and the first time I came the other way here, this owl on the left, his eyes are actually reflectors in blue, or they were. And I crapped myself because I came up to this bend and it was at night time, and it just looked like police or something. Not that I was doing anything wrong, but yeah, you come round a bend and you see little blue lights. Yeah, we just parked up at an altitude of 1,000 meters here. You can see not that far above us there's loads of these sort of mini glaciers dotted around. Most of them are hollow underneath because of the water that's flowing underneath. And the camera again won't pick up the scale of this, but just that's more or less the same level as me here. But there's loads of these, and these valleys here, and you can see up the top here where the snow's actually been melting underneath. and it just all comes down these little couloirs, corridors, just dotted all along. And the scale of this, as I say, I'm at 1,000 metres, so going on the snow line that I was finding earlier, up there in that cloud is round about 2003, so that's 1,300 metres above me here. That equates to about 4,500 feet. It's massive. I've actually got the camera at about a 45-degree angle here looking at the tops of this, and I can't even see the tops because it's up in the cloud. Now that one I just took a video of, it actually, at the end of winter, just before this sort of period now, will sometimes completely flood the other side of the road here, so they purposefully make a spot for it to do that. And there's a speed limit here, so you come over here and you don't go, uh-oh, and you're in the mud. So this is specifically designed, this spot here, so that that water can actually come over, and it'll bring water, ice, snow, mud, you name it. And then the speed limit's national speed limit again. There's another 3 of them further up here where the speed limit, you really cannot go. I think it's the same again, it's restricted to 50 kph. If you go over 60 kph, they're that sharp you actually get airborne. And I do actually know someone, not me of course, who's actually hit them at over 100 kph in a company vehicle and got seriously airborne, nearly landed out on its nose. So here's the first one up here, Passage à Goo. Goo is mud and goo, basically, as it says. So you come over this, and it's a specific point. You can see where they've cleaned it up and cleared it up. And if I actually stop the car here, you can see off to the right, where it's going downhill away from us, up to the left the actual water's running. So yeah, and when that's in full melt, or when that's it would have been last night, that would have been flooding across the road. And quite often they actually keep a machine specifically there permanently to clear it. Usually in the springtime and the autumn when we get all the storms in the Alps. Done a Passage de Goo at the bottom. We've done one sort of halfway up, and there's another 3 here I think. And what I'll do is, it says to, the light's not on so they're okay, but whoa, that's at 50, and you can see all the grind marks where someone's kind of nosedived it. Here's a second one. Whoa! And I think there's a third one up here too. Yeah, oh, a bit fast, but way. Yeah. So that last one, if I bring the camera down, you can actually see how sharp that hump is. And that was at 50. As recommended. And it's all brought down here in stages and in steps, so that the water, when it gets very, very massive, it basically mixes it all up and makes the water softer, so it doesn't damage stuff like the road when it comes past. I am presently standing halfway up the northern hemisphere of planet Earth. Here's a slightly better example of what I was saying back down the road there. Quite a significant set of waterfalls coming down here. And crack onto the snowy bit, the wee glacier bit at the bottom. You can see where it's all been eaten underneath. As I say, most of these are hollow underneath. Bit of a view check here. those mountains, the valley, that's where I'm going. Looks a little bit stormier than here. That was just passing the Col d'Ornon, which is at 1,350 metres. I drop down now, I go to a town called Bourg-d'Oisans, which is the one at the bottom of Alpe d'Huez on one side, and it's got Les Deux Alpes on the other side, more or less. You then climb up, and go past Le Grave. Now I'm going to stop at Le Grave, which is at 1,450 metres, if I remember rightly, roughly the same as here. We go down, and then up, and then we go to the highest point of the journey today, which is at 2,050 metres. And it does look like it's going to get a bit stormy, but that's only going to make stuff interesting. See how it goes. Here we are. There's still some more weird stuff to go. Here's another one of these things, a bigger one. It comes from way higher up than I was talking about before. And there's actually a load of them on the left there that are actually all coming into one further down. But the water coming down is that cold, it actually keeps that ice going. So it's not only hollow underneath, and you can see I'm at an altitude now of 1,150 metres, and below us, just behind these trees here, you can see there's even more snow there. It's kept cold by the water that comes down underneath it. Somewhere down here, if I can find it, I think it might be a bit further down. Yeah, rats, that's a good one too. Oh well, but that one's got hollows all the way down it. I'd be tempted to go and walk on those, but they're I've sworn I'm going to keep into the car. I'm going to stay in the car today, apart from getting out to video stuff. So far I've been a good boy and I've kept to that. Right, I've missed what it was back there, but what I was looking at was there for years was a Manitou, which is an industrial piece of machinery, but it was on Irish plates from County Kerry. Now believe me, there's about 1,000 foot drop to my right and maybe about a 4,000 or 5,000 foot climb to my left. You can see this ahead, and I'm sure many tourists do this road and they don't appreciate what it's taken to actually build it. I'm going to just stop here and get the cam out again. Bit shaky because I'm zoomed right in again. But let's just come back out of here. This is what I'm saying about the road. How did they do that? Here's another example just ahead of us here. That's engineering for you. So just come down the bottom now, about to join the main road and head right to continue around the north side of the Parc des Ecrins. And ahead of us you can see these amazing formations of that mountain. It just gets more and more spectacular the further round you go. It's significantly busier down here, and there's a lot more camper vans down here. So far,
400 metres.
Yeah.
At the roundabout.
Turn left.
Turn left.
Yeah. So far, it's been a lot more, mostly the industrial things, like on the left there, the lorry, the van that we just passed. But there's more private vehicles down here and camper vans and stuff. So people are taking advantage of this finish of lockdown today. Now we're at Bourg-d'Oisans. I'm not actually going to go through the town.
At the roundabout, turn left.
Yeah, again. I'm not actually going to go in there. I'm going to take the wee bypass around it and head to the more spectacular natural stuff. tilt the camera up here just for the scale of this. This is spectacular. And there's a big valley around the left that I'll be heading. Now obviously I can't play around with the camera when I'm driving. All I'm doing is flicking it on and flicking it off. And quite a significant number of motorbikes on the road, and that's a normal thing for this time of year, so definitely aspects of normality returning. Camper vans and motorbikes, and even past a few bikes, push bikes, guys that kind of Tour de France wannabes. But we start climbing again now. This is at another man-made lake with a dam that we just crossed over. The dam on the left of us here, 700 meters above sea level, and now need another gear. That's better. Climbing quite steeply up here. Now straight ahead, I don't know if it's visible but on camera, but there's a road up there, and I've got a video on that. I think I still got it. I think I can find it on the channel, and if so I'll put a link into it. It's incredible. That's 3,000 feet above us, about 900 meters. With the sheer sharpness of the terrain around here, there's just tunnels everywhere, massive long tunnels. And just behind this guy doing 30 kph, that's his maximum speed, but off to the right there is the road I was talking about. It's called the Traverse. It actually cuts out about 10 kilometers of road to go up to the ski resort of Les-Orres. Across to our left out of sight is the ski resort of Alpe d'Huez, a very famous ski resort. Spectacular scenery. We've got 27 kilometers to go, and in so doing we're going to climb in altitude 1100 meters, which is about 3,500 feet in altitude. So it just gets more and more spectacular. I'm trying to resist touching the camera because I know it's going to get brilliant, but it's already brilliant. It's going to get even more brilliant. Ahead of us is the Lac du Chambon. Ahead of us to the right is Les-Orres up above. We go over the dam again, the barrier. You can see the sign here, Bianson, La Grave, Les-Orres. There's actually steam evaporation coming off the lake. And just the other side of it is the Tunnel de Chambon, the tunnel, which a few years ago there was a huge rock slide and it actually closed the tunnel. We're going to go through it. They've completely redone it inside and made it really a lot safer, not likely to happen again. And when that happened, this is the main road between Italy and sort of Grenoble area, the Northern Alps. And they had to get it open again, so they built in a matter of weeks on the other side of the valley a €6 million escape road, which is just an incredible achievement. And here we have the Grand Tunnel de Chambon, 970 meters, a better part of a kilometer long. the blue things on the side, you can see on the rails there's yellow lights and blue lights. The blue lights are your standard separation for vehicles at the recommended 70 kilometers an hour. 50 meters apart are these blue lights. Now they've completely reinforced all of the damaged area which we're coming up to. You can see on the right there, fresh bits. These are all fresh and new, these supports that they've built in. And it was above here that this huge landslide happened and basically killed the tunnel. Well, they resurrected it. Just as we watch that van going into the tunnel the other way, we can see across the other side to the left here, that's the escape road that they built specifically to replace that tunnel whilst it was getting worked on. I think it was about a year and a half that the tunnel was closed. What they must have had to drive through with rock and all sorts. I'll just go and have a wee look over here and you can see it a bit closer as it comes closer to this side of the lake. Lake seems to be quite low just now, but you can see the road heading round here and it rejoins further along, which we'll see as we go past it. Now, I did manage to actually overtake that lorry, but I know the road very well and I know that if I let him past, I'll never get past him again for a long while. So he was just turning out the tunnel there, so I've managed to scoot away. Now I'm going to head up, the next stop's going to be La Grave, or its full name is La Grave-la-Miège, because it's named after La Miège, which is the mountain above it, one of the highest peaks in the Alps. And I've really got to stop there just to check out what the glaciers are like. And I'll probably just leave the camera off until then. I've really got to watch how much footage I take of this. It's so tempting to just leave it running. I'll maybe switch it on a couple of times for significant bits of road or whatever, but that's going to be it. This escape road on the right that they built, but it's only closed, it's only open if there is a blockage or if they shut the tunnel for repairs off season or whatever. So again, just the sheerness of the surroundings here is just awesome, with more of these mini glaciers underneath the mini valleys. I can see we're heading into some interesting weather. Now we've just crossed back from Department 38 into Department 05 again. We're back in the Hautes Alps, the Southern Alps, the High Alps, although they're higher here. I don't know why they call it that. Welcome to La Grave-la-Miège. Hopefully we can see stuff, it's not snowing too heavy up ahead. So welcome to the statistically most dangerous ski resort in Europe. Now we can see the main lift going up here. It basically goes all the way to the top with one stop off halfway or a wee bit further up. 1450 meters up to about, I think the top is about 3.1 or something, and then it goes on to a further 3.5 with a button toe, which is the only button toe built on a glacier. Now we can't actually see the glaciers, but here is the bottom of them, the black stuff. They kind of form a black thing because they suck in the pollution and whatnot. And normally this place is heaving. None of the resort up there is pisted except the first part on the glacier. So it's strongly recommended to hire a guide either for the morning, the afternoon or the day, and I'm going to try not to get water in the lens here, but yeah, it's definitely snowing up there. So we'll head on up to oops, yeah, I'm Alive is the song. Yeah, so we'll head on up to the Quasi-Normality. It looks like it might be a bit clearer over there as well, and it really is a spectacular place. This being the main road between Italy and Grenoble, Northern Alps, they almost always keep it open no matter how much it snows, and it's generally speaking the highest call to rest to stay open in winter at 2,050 meters, so it's a good height up. Right, I'm going to stop this now and wait till I get there. This one gets a bit narrow if you come across a truck coming the other way. Goodness sakes, I don't know what it's like if two trucks pass each other. They almost stop to get past. Quite a narrow one. The best one's yet to come. But these are all pretty good. See if I can focus in on it. Wow. Excellent. We're not going there, we're going round the left up here. We're at 1850 metres now, so another 200 metres climb and 4 kilometres drive. And here we are, the Quasi-Normality. Campers and cars, other people taking advantage of our first day off of...
Turn right.
No, I'm stopping. First day of deconfinement, and that is my view for lunch. Not bad, eh? And I've got way too much footage here and a bit of a wind alert, but this is just where we've come up. This is, you can see, the side of the road where we've been, and mega high mountains, snow, clouds. You can see just ahead of us here, I'll zoom in a second, someone's actually walked up the ski mountain, despite the fact that there's avalanches all over the place up there. There could even be snowboarders. To the customary sounds of running water and rivers, the mountain sounds. We just came down from up there, and with it being up at altitude, the weather was changing from brilliant sunshine to torrential rain. It really wasn't nice to actually be sitting around in, so I've come away from there. I'm down a little bit, obviously. I think I'm probably around about 1750 meters altitude or so. So really that's the most interesting part of the trip round the Ecrins. There is one or two other things, and I'll do them more or less as a rollout. Now, if I swing the camera around, you can see how dreich is a Scottish word for that one. how dreary and horrible it's getting over there, and that's where we're headed for. So I'm just going to head back now, and there's one or two things. There's still the big daft thing, as it were. So don't know how I'm going to put this all together, but we'll see how it turns out. So anyway, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget, subscribe down there, and you can click on the alert bell for notifications of future uploads from MaxMountainWorld. Don't forget, you can comment, share, online, offline, like it, dislike it, it's all the same to me. The feedback is valuable to me. So until the next time, thanks again for watching, much appreciated. Ciao. Song, otherwise known as Sir Chevalier 1200. Quite a lot of things have been adjusted appropriately for the situation. Noticed that along the road they've repaired some of the wrecked speed cameras, radars, and there was one along here that was completely wrecked and they took it away. So I don't know if they've done something with it. Just on the right here by this Armco, and yeah, they've put up an average speed camera in its place. That's very nice of them, isn't it? Used to have another one along here on the left that got wrecked, and it was quite cheekily placed just inside the speed limit, just the other side of the Armco on the left there, but nope, they've not replaced that one. But I'm just wondering how far you go with that average speed one that we just passed. They've been busy with their virus, haven't they, the old gendarmes? Again, another one down here on the right, which was an average speed one, but it was two poles and someone had knocked one of them over, and it's not been repaired. Kind of gives you a bit of a dilemma, really. If you're the sort of person that does speed, you only need to get caught once. They only need to repair it once. You know, if you take it for granted that it's completely knackered, and then all of a sudden they repair it, you're done, and that's it. So I don't speed. It's an easier life anyway. It's a nicer way of driving, even if the speed limit in France is ridiculous. Another one here, cheekily hidden behind that sign, which wasn't wrecked, always was working, and I think it's probably connected not to that last one like it used to be. I think that'll be connected to the one far away, and if you drive ridiculously fast they can prove it. Crazy.